Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of A Pretty Little Podcast. I'm Allie Violet Vixen Commissaro, and next to me is my podcaster in crime.
Hi guys, it's Jessie. Welcome back another week. We are so excited for this week's guest, and we are so happy to have everybody, all our rejoining listeners back.
Tonight, we have an electrifying conversation with Lesbian Bed Death, where heavy riffs and haunting melodies collide. Join us as we dive into the dark and dynamic world of this talented band. Please welcome Lesbian Bed Death. Hey!
Hello.
Hello.
Hey. So let's just jump right in. Why don't you both go in and you can introduce yourselves?
JJ first.
Hi, I'm JJ. I'm the lead singer.
I'm Dan. I'm the rhythm guitarist and founder member of the band.
So I was telling Dan before we started that I had two of my friends reach out to me within the same week with your songs, and they're like, you have to check them out. I love you guys, and everybody that I've shared your music with is just they made such a big deal. They're like, wow, like they're so good. So we want to know a little bit more about you. So how did the formation of the band go?
A long time ago. Basically, it started off as a side project because I was in another band. I was in a hardcore band, and I wanted to do something that was a bit more kind of goth meets glam, those sorts of 80s vibes. And it was just a bit of fun. I thought we'd only ever make one album, then that'd be it. We'd disappear then. But yeah, people seem to warm to Lesbian Bed Death quite a lot. We've had lots of different lineups over the years because, again, being an independent band, people do it for a year or so, then their circumstances change, and then they move on. And I've just carried on. Basically, I thought, well, as long as I'm having fun, I'm just gonna keep doing this. And I think now we've finally got the best lineup we've ever had, and we've got a lineup that I think that can actually do something on a slightly higher level. So everything's got quite exciting recently.
So we have to know, what is the story behind your name?
the true story. Okay. I was channel flicking one night years ago, just watching any old rubbish on TV, and I started watching a documentary, and this professor was very serious, and he was talking about the concept of lesbian bed death. And me being a giant child, I thought that's a cool name for a rock band. It's something much deeper than that, really. I wanted something that's a bit sort of goth and a bit glam, and something like Sisters of Mercy meets Rat or something. And the name Lesbian Bed Death, I thought that's perfect. I just went with it, and because I remember I never thought this would be like a serious band. I thought it'd be something for one-off projects, and then it would disappear again. So I wasn't thinking about the commercial implications of whatever I named the band. I just thought Lesbian Bed Death sounded cool and just went with it. And,
I think the fact that you weren't thinking about like the commercial value or the longevity of it makes it so authentic, because you're like, this is just like, everything aside, this is just what I want to name it.
Exactly. Yeah. It was the kind of, the music we were doing was really like very much out of fashion at the time as well. Back then it was everything was about new metal. If you didn't sound like Slipknot, you weren't going to do very much at all, certainly not in the UK. So what I was doing something very different to what all my friends were doing musically. So I never, if you want to be commercially successful, you don't make that kind of music, certainly not then. So we just did our own thing, really, and people seemed to like it, which was quite a surprise, but a welcome one.
It's definitely having more of a resurgence now. With all these bands going on tour that I'm like, man, am I I'm spending money. Like Sisters of Mercy, the tickets were expensive, but I was like, what a iconic band. I have to go see that.
Yeah, I think it's like there's a lot more of like a community there, like now in like today's day and age, like I remember like 10, 15 years ago, you wouldn't, I mean, you'd get like sort of like your alt goth kind of communities, but they'd be kind of like small and very localized. Whereas like now we're everywhere. We've spread like the plague, as we should, so
We're
not seen that many like trad goths like in the but now I'm like seeing them. I'm loving it. The makeup, the everything. It's just like I'm so excited by it. And it's just like something to be really excited about.
Definitely.
If you had to describe your overall like sound and style into 3 words, I'll give you each 3 words. What would your 3 words be?
You know what? Ironically, just when you were talking about it being so authentic and just like it is what it is, the words that I would just use is lesbian bed death. Like there's just no other way to describe it. It's like we are lesbian bed death, and there's no other words to
cop out, JJ.
Yeah, I know it's not a cop out.
I think it's a good answer.
Yeah, it's like, at the end of the day, like you look at us and it's just like we are lesbian bed death. This is like who we are. This is the music that we write. And then, it's just we are who we are.
Yeah.
What's the craziest reaction that you've gotten for someone that came to your live shows or reached out to you? Like,
for me, the craziest, it was years ago when we first started. This is in the days of MySpace, a long time ago. We hadn't been around very long, and this kid in Australia, he carved Lesbian Bed Death into his arm. Do you remember the Slayer album where someone did the same thing? He basically copied that, and he wrote Lesbian Bed Death. He carved it with a Stanley knife in his arm. Okay, and I didn't really know how to react to this, to be honest. And what was really bad is he spelt it wrong as well. I didn't have the heart to say it. He wrote Lesbian Bed Death, like BEAN. And we didn't really know how to react. So I don't want to be encouraging people like, mutilating themselves because they like our band. I'd rather they just bought a t-shirt or something. But that was kind of
the question is, did you repost it?
I can't remember what happened in the MySpace days. If you did repost stuff,
I don't
that on your wall. I can't remember.
I'm not sure. I think that if anything, you would have like just commented back like "why?" question mark.
On MySpace.
I think I told him to see a doctor to make sure it wasn't going to get infected or something. Being wholesome.
Is straight out of like the people who would put Slayer. He's
copying that. There was a Slayer DVD that was huge at the time. Definitely. Divine Intervention, under where the CD goes, there was a picture of the guy's arm. I think he was just copying that.
Yeah, definitely. I remember seeing that everywhere around that time period.
Yeah, I was quite flattered, but disturbed at the same time.
Yeah.
Mine was so much more tame than that. I did not expect that like at all. I didn't know that.
What's yours?
Mine's probably so far like then again, it's not really weird. It was just like it's a strange kind of feeling. Was I was at work, and I work in a restaurant, right? So I have like a dining area, and I work on the front of house. And a customer overheard me talking to like a colleague about like the band, like upcoming gigs and stuff like that, and I was talking about like exciting and stuff like that. And then the customer came up to me and was sort of like, "Oh, like I heard you're in a band, like what's the name?" And so I told him, and he was like, "That is an amazing name." And I'm going about my business, this guy goes off, he sits back in his little corner, and then all of a sudden I hear Satanic Suicide Sex Cult playing, and I thought I was like losing the plot or something, and I'm like strolling around the restaurant and he's just sat there watching the videos on his phone, and I was like, this is amazing.
That's so funny.
So do you guys, as far as social media, what is your like go-to social platform? Like as far as like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok?
Probably Facebook. I feel like very active on Facebook. We're definitely making more of an effort to like raise the others. We started a TikTok a couple of months ago, trying to get some videos out. And then Instagram is very active when we're out like doing stuff, and we're very active. You can follow it along as we're doing things, but there's constantly stuff on Facebook. A lot of the fans and stuff are on Facebook, and it's very easy to communicate with them that way. So I feel like that's a preferred method, definitely.
Yeah.
Dan, what's your preferred?
Personally, I'm starting to prefer Instagram. I used to, I mean, there was a time when Facebook was the internet for a while. You know, everyone was on Facebook and never went anywhere else. But I just got sick of all the really stupid stuff that was on it, and you know, I'd rather see pictures of people's cats and dogs now. So Instagram is kind of it's more for me, really.
So, who were some of your influences? And I want to start with, who did you grow up listening to? And then we'll move to some of your influences now.
Okay.
Do you want to go first, Dan?
I'll go first. Yeah. Ooh, that's a good question. I think when I was a kid, I loved Kiss and Judas Priest. Then I got into slightly more of the goth stuff, like the Cults and Sisters of Mercy, and the Misfits massively. It's probably my favorite band, to be honest. And I also had the Return of the Living Dead sound. Yeah, awesome. I also had the Return of the Living Dead soundtrack, which I got obsessed with. So I was very much into like classic goth, horror punk, and like what we call now traditional heavy metal as well. But today, the bands, I mean, I listen to a lot of new stuff. I'm enjoying a lot of Spirit Box at the moment. I love Ghost. The new Creeper album is fantastic as well. And there's a band called St. Agnes I've seen a few times, who are really cool. So I'm always checking out new bands, and there's some of these bands that people think we're influenced by, and I'm like, we've been around 10 years longer than them. You know, it's a cult horror rock, and I'm like, yeah, we've been around longer than Ghost and Creep and these bands. Just no one knew about us.
I was gonna say,
I feel a lot of pull from all those, though. Like when I listen to your music, like I get those vibes pulled into it.
I think when I think about someone like, say, Tobias Forge, I think he's roughly the same age as me. I've never met him or anything, but I bet you he grew up listening to the same albums I did, watching the same cheesy horror films I enjoyed too. I bet he's got like the first Wasp album in his collection, like me, and all this kind of stuff. So I think they're probably just similar people. They've just been very lucky and had more success, and probably written better songs as well, which has helped them. But yeah, I mean, we're hoping that's gonna be our turn next, maybe, hopefully. I don't know. We'll just see what happens.
And Jesse, I didn't mean to cut you off when you were talking.
I was going to say, what style of hardcore band did you play in?
Years ago. I'd say more kind of rap metal, really. I mean, when I was about 15, I went to see Biohazard with support from Dog Eat Dog and Downset in Wolverhampton. It was just like, it just changed my life. That I just knew I had to be in a band, and all my friends were obsessed with Pantera at the time, because that's just the band everyone listened to. And it's kind of a mix of all those things. And I got into Stuck Mojo as well. So I'd say Biohazard as a template, with a bit of all those other influences, and rap metal really. But it's before anyone used the term new metal. That wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
So, but I guess looking back, people would, the kids would have called my old band new metal, but it wasn't.
I get what you're saying.
And JJ, who were some of your influences growing up?
When I was like a kid, every singer will always sort of do that whole thing of like, I've wanted to be a singer since like the day I was born, kind of thing. Like it comes very naturally, that urge. Like if you want to be a singer, it sort of happens like right from the start, and that's the same for myself. And as a kid, a lot of my influences as a vocalist came from like Amy Winehouse and Adele. Actually, it was only when I started getting to like 14 and 15 that I finally started getting exposure to like some real music, like the Misfits, The Cure, System of a Down. I started listening to, so as the Sex Pistols were like a massive influence for me as well. So it was only when I got to that age that I started listening to all those bands.
So how does your creative process work? Like, how do you go about creating a new song?
Luck.
Luck, yeah.
Personally, I stay up late at night and mess around on the guitar, and sometimes I accidentally come up with a cool riff or something, and then I will develop that from there. And it's the same with lyrics. Sometimes I sit up late at night and I try and think of different ideas. I go through hundreds of different things, and sometimes something will just jump out at me in my brain, and I'm like, that's it. That concept has got to be for that song, that demo, and then I go from there. So things with the latest album, a lot of it was written before JJ joined the band, so I'd say like about a third of it has got a lot of JJ on it, but all the stuff prior to that was just me and my friend Steve, just messing about, in just his home studio, and we took our time with it, and it's kind of developed as time's gone on, so it's a bit of a mishmash of an album. So I think the next one will be more of a group effort with JJ writing a lot more lyrics and everything, really, won't it?
Yeah, definitely.
I'm not doing it all by myself, JJ.
No,
You need
don't
to help
worry.
me.
That's the thing. I was like, I was so glad, and there was like a couple of bits on the album that was sort of like, oh, let's sit down together and write some lyrics and stuff like that, write some vocal melodies, and that was really cool for me because that's what I like doing the most. Like out of everything music wise, writing is my favorite. I think using that as a creative outlet is just it's very powerful, and it's such a momentary thing as well. Like he said, you'll just be messing around on your guitar very late at night, and what you'll end up with is just like a bunch of random videos, like 30-second videos of you playing random stuff on the guitar or humming a melody and stuff like that, and then we take it into the studio, mash it all together until it kind of starts to sound like something, and you get a little bit of something then, and that's your foundation to build songs then, really.
With this new album, did you guys have any like fun stories from like behind the scenes in the recording studio?
I'm trying to think, actually.
There was
fun isn't really a word that I'd use for the recording process. Too many tantrums. We ate lots of junk food.
A lot of junk food.
Yeah.
I tell you what, I don't think I drink. I hardly drink water when I'm not in the studio. Like, it's very rare. I'm either sick or in the studio when I drink water. And I'll go to the studio and I will drink gallons and gallons of water. I'm like nipping to the toilet every like 20 seconds. And I'm like, I'm sorry guys, I know we're in the middle of a take, but I gotta go again, kind of thing. I think recording is definitely a lot of fun though. When I first was sort of like joining the band and stuff like that, I was very nervous. Before joining this band, I'd not sung rock vocals before, so I was sort of like, am I going to be able to do it? And Dan was awesome in terms of like sort of bringing it out. He said that he like heard something in my voice that he liked. He was like, it's in there, we just got to like bring it out. And so between him and Steve, they like made me really comfortable and stuff like that, and we all very quickly became friends. And so I sort of saw the studio sessions less of, oh, okay, like we're gonna record an album today, which of course we were, but I was like, I get to hang out with like two of the coolest people I've ever met in my life. And so it was just really fun, the whole experience. 10 out of 10, would do it again.
So JJ, this one's for you. What's your favorite song to perform live?
Oh, now you're asking. Oh, there's definitely a few. Oh, I'm trying to think. Probably Satanic Suicide Sex Cult, just because it's really fun, like when people start singing it back to you, like Satanic Suicide Sex Cult. There's nothing better. And I really get in like the audience face, like I'm in your face kind of thing. I just love it. Or Chains. I love that song so much. That's a bit of an older LBD song, but it's so in tune with who I am as a person. So I love just screaming it on stage. It's brilliant.
All your songs, you guys seem like you have a lot of fun up there, like performing them and getting into it.
Yeah, I mean, like at the end of the day, like music is something that we've always wanted to do, like our whole lives. And now we've managed, against all odds, to come together and make music and go out and perform it. And, people want to come and see us, which is just the most amazing thing in the entire world. If you can't have fun doing it, then like, what's the point in doing it? I think it's, especially for me, like it's been nothing but fun. And then I get to make fun of Dan when he gets stressed because he's like got a serious brain and I'm just not serious at all. So I'm like, don't get stressed.
Yeah, as I record a guitar riff for the 400th time and still can't get it right. Yeah, great.
So Dan, what's your favorite song to perform?
Probably the easiest ones to play, so I don't have to worry about them too much. If I'm honest about it. I've got an old song called Halloween. That's always great fun to play. And off the new album, I say The Antichrist is always good. Always get a good response to that. And it's easy as well, which I like. I don't like to concentrate too much when I'm playing because I can't perform. I like to jump around and move about and interact a little bit.
Yeah.
What kind of energy
songs are good for me?
What kind of energy or vibe do you like your fans to walk away feeling after seeing you?
It's hard to tell, really. I mean, what we do is escapism first and foremost. It's fun. It's not, we're not an angry, over emotional sort of band where people come out with the whole kind of cathartic, empowered sort of vibe like they would from a lot of metalcore bands or whatever. It's I know the same kind. I don't know. It's a difficult question actually. Just fun, just having a good time, having a laugh, and I guess when you're at a concert, you're with other people who are like-minded as well. Not just because they like the same band, but you find they often have a lot of the same interests. They're all into bad 80s horror films and things like that. And we have a lot of people come to see our shows they've all made friends with each other over the years. You see big groups of like 5 or 6 people, and the same faces coming again, and they have little road trips and go to different parts of the country to see us and stuff. And it's quite nice seeing how that little community's kind of evolved, really.
Now, do you guys have any fun stories from a live show? And I say fun, I leave it very vague. They can be crazy stories. They can be just something that impacted you in some way.
Go on, JJ.
Oh God, there's so many. None of them are bad, which is, it's very good though. There's just so much happens, especially like when you're on tour and stuff like that. But this story, it always springs to mind because it's just, I think it was my first ever gig with the band. It was the Blackpool gig all the way back in April last year. And I used to have these like beaded bracelets and I wore them like every day. And I think I was wearing a leather jacket towards the start of the set, and then halfway through I like took the jacket off and just like spun it around, got rid of it. And in doing so, my bracelet kind of got caught, and then it snapped and it hit this like dude. He probably was like 15, 16 by the looks of things. It hit him like in the eye. I just watched a bead like fly off, and I was there like singing the songs like you have to carry on, like the show must go on. But out the corner of my eye, I was just watching this kid go like that. And I was like, I'm so sorry. And he came up to me, like I was trying to find him after the show, and he came up to me anyway. Like he found me before I found him. And I was like, I am so sorry. And he came up to me with a couple of like beads in his hand, and he was like, no, that was amazing. He's like, I'm keeping these. He was like, can I keep them? And I was like, yeah. And then got me to sign his thing, and it was so surreal to me because no one had ever asked for like my signature or a picture or anything before, and I was like, why would you want one with me? But here he was with those 3 little beads, one that had hit him in the eye. It was just amazing.
It's wild.
Dan, do you have a favorite story from a live show?
Probably not. I'm just thinking of all these things that are completely inappropriate going through my head.
It's fine.
I remember we played a show in Norwich, and on the way to Norwich, we pulled over at a service station off the motorway, and we all went in to get some food. And I was at KFC waiting, for my chicken and everything as you do. And my phone goes, and our drummer Amy was on the phone, and she was like, "Dan, the breakers malfunctioned on the van, and it smashed into someone's car." And then he was just sitting doing the makeup in the back of the van, and the brake just snapped, and the whole massive vehicle just rolled back and smashed into this old lady's car. It's not a particularly funny story, but I'm laughing anyway because you got to. But yeah, I remember I phoned the guy who owns the van, the hire company. He was like, "Yeah, it's fine. Just when you leave the van, just like put it in first gear. Don't worry about it." And I was like, "Okay." So we just like did half the tour with no brake, and I was having to use like clutch control.
It was the handbrake, wasn't it? Just
yeah, that's right. Just
cable snapped on it. Oh my god!
Just this giant van just rolled back into this car. It was really funny.
To this day, I'm so glad it was Amy that was with the van though, and not like me, for example, because I was going to be the one that waited, but Amy changed her mind at the last second. I think she wanted to call her girlfriend, so I was like, okay, yeah, that's fine. I'll go in and get food with you. So we went to KFC, and if that would have been me, Amy managed to jump into the front of the van and sort of put it in gear to stop the van from rolling any more than it had. And this car had sort of stopped it from rolling anyway, the poor car. But if that was me, I wouldn't have known what to do. I would have just sat there and watched it.
You would have been like,
yeah, I would have been like, nice knowing you.
Oh yeah.
Watch all our equipment just burst into flames.
No old women were hurt in the process.
Yeah.
I think everyone just laughed at my really bad running towards the van, just watch him go. So I'm not exactly an athlete.
Yeah, we were in KFC and
looking at me out the window as I'm doing this
just watching him run away from us.
Oh my
he didn't say anything when he left. He answered his phone, went oh crap, and then just like just sprinted and said nothing and just ran away. So
oh my god, that's a good one. So what should fans expect from your live show?
Probably more than they're going to get.
Especially with like your new songs, like what do they have to look forward to with the new songs that have come out?
Energy, I think.
Yeah,
a lot of energy.
And we're trying to develop our stage show a little bit more. I've always been a huge Alice Cooper fan, and I've always wanted to do like more of a stage show. So we've got a bit of a stage show. It's more like Alice Cooper from Wish at the moment, isn't it? Really, but we're doing our best. We're trying. We've got a few cool things we do on stage, but we're developing that a bit more. And we're trying to do like a different mini stage show for each song, and just seeing how that works, and how the audience kind of receive it basically. But it's been going well. We've been morphing into Alice Cooper a bit more each tour, haven't we, really?
Yeah.
Nice. So are there any venues that you love to play at first? And then are there any venues that you would like to play with in the future? Or play at?
That's a good question. It depends on... There's a few venues I'd like to play, but we're not really big enough, and I think there'd be about 6 people in the big empty venues. I've always wanted to do some of the legendary ones, like Whiskey A Go Go or something like that. Just all the things I'd read about in magazines.
You're very humble because you've got 15K on your Spotify.
Yeah,
that's pretty good. Isn't it? Pretty good. I'm quite happy about that. But I used to think about venues a lot when I was a teenager and stuff, but I'm more into just playing anywhere where there's people coming to see us now. We'll play any old toilet, providing there's people who actually want to come and see us and enjoy what we do. That's how I see it. I'm quite easy. I'm laid back. I'll play anywhere.
Yeah.
Now, are you trying to get more playing around the States?
we're trying to like branch out now, aren't we? So we've done a lot of different venues across the UK, Scotland,
Yeah.
and then now we're trying to like venture out into Europe, the States potentially. But there's like a lot of thought process and preparation that has to go into that, definitely.
A lot of it's visas, work visas, and things like that. And there's two ways to play. There's doing it properly, which would be very expensive, and we're not really a big enough band to not lose a small fortune doing it. Or there's the DIY punk way, which is we go as tourists, and then we borrow another band's guitars and amps and just do it anyway for fun.
Yeah.
So we it's on my bucket list. I have to do it. So, I mean, our old keyboardist actually moved out to somewhere in Louisiana, I think, and he's always saying, "You guys got to come over, and I'm in a band now, and we'll lend you all the equipment and everything, and drive you around." The old lineup never did it because they never wanted to take time off work and things like that. They weren't rock and roll enough. But I think now it's on the cards now, isn't it, Jay? Should we do this?
1,000,000%. Yeah. I've pulled many sickies at work to go and do like band stuff. I've just turned around.
You guys really doing well at some of the festivals.
Yeah.
Like we have tons of festivals over here. Like I could see you guys doing really well with that.
I'm going to try and do a bit of smoozing and meet the right people soon. So I'm going to Los Angeles in March. I'm just going to, get confident, hopefully, and start chatting to people and see if I can, pimp the band out a little bit. Get to know a few people and see if anything comes of that. Maybe it won't, I don't know, but I can but try.
Well, definitely let us know when you're headed over because we have lots of friends over on the West Coast.
First of March, I'm coming.
Oh, okay.
So I'm doing 6 days in Los Angeles. I'm going to Las Vegas for a little bit.
Exciting.
I want to drive around Death Valley. That's been on my bucket list as well. So, I always look at other venues and think, I want to play here, I want to play there, and everything. And I'm just turn up in person and just say, well, if we did turn up, would you consider putting this on? Is there, if you do have your own drum kit here, or would we have to hire one? That kind of thing. All the things that normally would cost a band a lot of money. I'm going to see if I can work something out. If I meet some band that is not too dissimilar to our own, as far as I'm concerned, if they want to fly over to the UK, we'll put them on tour with us and they can use all our equipment if they do the same for us. So we won't tell visa people or anything. We'll just do it the punk way, just turn up and play.
I can definitely throw your name out to some people that are looking to do some similar things.
Oh, thank you. That'd be brilliant.
So, if you could collab with anyone, dead or alive, who would it be?
Can I go, JJ?
I think, honestly, oh my god, Ghost probably.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, I feel like we just kind of slot really nicely in with them.
I'd love to collaborate with Glenn Danzig, but I think I'd probably regret it very quickly if I actually did.
I saw him in September, and I got something to say. He still got it.
Yeah.
I was like losing it. I was like, Danzig still got it. I am so impressed right now. Pipes.
Yeah.
Pipes.
I really want to go to the Misfits reunion shows.
Incredible.
There's none in Europe yet at all. None in Europe at all yet.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that'll happen. But yeah, I would definitely work with Glenn Danzig. But I've heard he's not the most easy person in the world to work with.
No, I do not think so. But what a king.
Totally.
Played all of Danzig 1, played all of Danzig 1, little bit of Danzig 2, and then sweet little couple songs off of Danzig 3 for the encore. And he did his little speeches in between. It kind of sounded like somebody's like drunk uncle on like Thanksgiving. But I was like, whatever. I was like, woo! I was like in one of those moods, and I was like, whatever you say, old man.
Yeah. Whatever, Boomer, sing another song. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you could tour with anyone right now, that was about a collab, but if you could tour with anyone right now, who would you like to tour with?
Stop. You know better. Come on, baby.
I'll let Dan answer that.
Me again? Okay. I was worried that I talked too much. Obviously, we'd love to tour with Ghost because they can do massive arenas and we fit with them really well. There's a British band called Creeper that I'd love to tour with.
What's their name?
Really cool. Creeper?
Creeper?
Yeah.
I'm writing these all down as we go. I love
it. They're awesome. And the ultimate for me would be if there's a Misfits reunion in Europe and they picked up the phone, gave us a call, we'd turn up. But I don't know. Supporting the Misfits would be like a dream come true. But
we actually had Jerry Other on for Jesse's birthday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jerry Only's son, and wow, it's just a whole vibe. I mean, like I don't know about Jesse, but I was sitting there the whole time, like, and I've hung out with him a couple times, and just great guys. The Misfits are just awesome. But I love that you guys mix the horror in and all that. I mean, do you guys go around to like the horror cons? Do they have them over there?
We do, yeah. They're not as big, but we have similar things, yeah. There's one in Manchester called For the Love of Horror. That's probably the biggest one in the UK, I think. I might be wrong there, but we do have a few things like that.
What's your favorite horror movie?
JJ?
Of all time, either, which is one that you got me to watch and I absolutely love it, which is Terrifier.
Yeah.
Or Evil Dead, like Evil Dead 2 is probably like I love. I was gonna get the Give Me Back My Hand tattoo, like all on my arm.
Yeah.
So that still might happen. So I love those movies.
Awesome.
So, can you tell us about some of your upcoming projects and some of the things that you have planned coming up for the future for spring and summer?
Yeah, it's all a bit up in the air at the moment. We're trying to get more shows. We're trying to get on some festivals. We've been booked for a small festival next year, but it feels like a million years away at the moment. But we're trying really hard to get more things for this summer. Another project I'm doing is I'm in the middle of writing a horror film, and I've got some friends who are going to help me with it. So the idea was the band are going to write a few songs specifically for the film. Like an anthology, but like Creep Show, that kind of thing. So we'll probably write like 7 or 8 new songs and incorporate them into the short stories. So that'll keep me busy, keep me out of trouble for a while.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
And
cool.
when are you planning on doing that?
As soon as I've finished writing all the bits, I've got about 3 down already. I'll be very disappointed if we're not filming by April. Basically, that's the plan. I think once we've filmed a chunk of it, it will kind of snowball then, and we'll be able to get some more interest, and it'll become a real thing then.
Yeah, once you get over that first hurdle of like, let's sit down and write.
Yeah, it's just about making these things happen. I mean, there's nothing worse than people who talk about making a movie, then it just never materializes. 2 years later, they're still talking about it, and I don't want to be a talker. I want to just get this done, So that's the plan. By the end of the year, I want it finished. I want an album's worth of material for it finished, and also we're just going to try and get on as many shows as we can. But we're putting the feelers out now, and hopefully something good will come up. So if there's any big bands out there watching this, call me. Don't leave me hanging.
Everyone that I've shared your music with, And it's all different kinds of people. I mean, every last one of them has been like, they're great.
Oh, thank you.
So I have a feeling that you do really well over in the States. And you're going to Vegas. I would meet up with Shay from the Rocking Roundtable.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I would definitely meet up with her. I believe they're back and forth between Cali and Las Vegas. So, and I know quite a few people that actually have played at Whiskey Go Go and know that area. So we will definitely try to push.
I'm going to go into full tourist mode when I go. You know, we've got an Airbnb.
Full tourist mode.
Definitely, we've got an Airbnb in West Hollywood. It's about a 20-minute walk from the Rainbow Bar and Grill. So, yeah, we're going to see all those places, Troubadour and everything. And I'm going to have my Guns N' Roses fanboy head on and get overexcited.
So, since we're getting close on time, looking ahead, what do you envision the band's sound evolving into? And is there anything else that fans can anticipate coming up?
So definitely as of the last album, like the newest album, it's it was a lot heavier than like any of the stuff LBD's sort of done before. We're still discovering a lot of new things every single time we go into the studio. There's like we discover something new about like what we can all do basically, so which is really cool. And I think the easiest thing for fans to expect is to in a weird way not expect anything at all, because what you get at the end of the day I feel like is just gonna kind of you can't put a marker on it. Like you're gonna get something a lot more than what you expected, if that makes sense.
Yeah, there's definitely like a Lesbian Bed Death DNA, like a core kind of sound, but we're very conscious about not making the same album twice. So we're still playing with some demos. Are we going to go in a slightly heavier direction, or are we going to pull back into the more gothy kind of areas? We just don't know yet. We're just going to write some songs and see what the next album kind of almost tells us what it wants to be. As ridiculous as that sounds, but we're just going to be creative.
I love the fact with your Spotify, like I see that a lot of these bands, like if they have older material, they're wiping their older material and they're only putting their new stuff on there.
Yeah.
Like with you guys, you have like such a wide variety of sound, and just it all has different feel, but kind of comes together. And I love that you keep it like that. Because I like to go back and hear like older stuff, some new stuff. Like I don't want to just hear one mindset kind of. But
certainly, I think there's a lot of politics with some bands with the contracts they have. And, like for example, Judas Priest, they have a couple of albums without Rob Halford that have just magically disappeared into thin air on Spotify. Yeah. There's all those sort of things going on, but with us, we're an independent band. We own all our own music. There's no label conflict or anything like that. So we just put it all online because people still enjoy the old songs. And personally speaking, when I get into a new band, I like to go down a rabbit hole. You know, I'll play the new album to death, and then I like to buy the back catalogue and kind of, sort of start geeking out on the different lineups and the different eras and things, and I find that really, really good fun.
It's especially like to see how things change over time, isn't it? Like
yeah. You kind of go on a journey with some bands, or you can kind of go backwards a little bit and see where they came from and how they've evolved over time. And I think because LBD's been around such a long time in different guises, a lot of our fans kind of find it fun just to see, look at all the different changes and how we've evolved, and they just enjoy it. So I don't want to be a band that just focuses on what we do right now and erasing everything else. I think people just enjoy listening to a bit of everything, and may as well leave it up there. It's not gonna hurt anybody, is it?
So I want to get into your latest song. You just put one up on YouTube like 5 days ago.
Yeah, She Loves Lilith.
She Loves Lilith. Can we hear a little bit more about that song and what vibe you were kind of trying to send off? JJ's on the side of her seat. Like
I'm like, it's just I love it. I think it's such like don't get me on this, but like an interesting track. Like it's very unique within itself. Like even the video and then the track, like some of the ideas and kind of techniques that we put into sort of recording it and then like the production of it, it's just it's turned out really cool. I think there's a certain retro element about it, and I feel like that's kind of what we were going for. It's very retro, like I feel like it could almost be played on a VHS tape kind of thing, and I really love that about it. So
I also want to jump in and ask real quick, with your videos, like what goes into that? Like who is coming up with the concepts and like
I think I just I fancy myself as a filmmaker. I'm the new Glenn Danzig with Verotica. No, it's just something fun I've always enjoyed doing. And when we write a song, sometimes the idea of the video just jumps into my head as we're writing it, and it becomes part of it from the start. And it's just nice to kind of realize that vision and create like the whole package, you know, the video with the song that complement each other. So it's just a lot of fun for me, and that's the reason we've got we have 6 videos out for this new album already, which is a ridiculous amount of videos for any band really for a new album. You know, most artists will pull out two in a lyric video and then they're done.
Yeah, recently a lot of people have been putting out like a video and then the lyric video and
yeah, and then they'll even just do AI ones now, and they won't even bother. I've seen lots of AI music videos recently. Even Guns N' Roses did one.
What? Wow.
Yeah, they've done a new AI video. It's called The General. Yeah. Came out a couple of weeks ago.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just,
I feel like,
come on, Guns N' Roses, you can afford to pay real people to make it.
yeah, like no AI.
Yeah. So I mean, I just enjoy doing that, and the band enjoy being in the videos. So it's just one of those little outlets we have, creative outlets. It's expensive, which is why we haven't made one for every single song. But I think the fans enjoy our videos because it's more than, you know, a band in a warehouse jumping around. You know, we try to have little stories and like make like a mini horror film for each one. So that's what we're trying to do anyway.
Yeah. And I'd love to ask, are there any little hidden things that fans can look for in any of your videos that you can think of?
Oh, trying to think
so. There's always something.
Sort of like little Easter eggs and stuff like that.
Yeah. Like little props and things get reused, and that's not necessarily because they're intentional Easter eggs. It's just because we're reusing stuff that we find around the house. So we'd have to buy anything new. I'm trying to think. I can't think of any top of my head. But there are definitely Easter eggs in there for sure.
I think some of them like feed into one another, like a lot, like the themes and stuff like that. A lot of the Easter eggs come from almost, if we're basing it more, like the song is based more on a specific horror film, if you would say, then there's a lot of Easter eggs and stuff like that, a lot of references to that movie, basically. Like Horrors of the Crown Hotel was just massive one, so full of Easter eggs and references to the movie. So
well, that's awesome. And I guess we are kind of out of time, so real quick, I just want to tell all of our listeners, please go on their Spotify and follow them, like them, please share, because that's what it's all about. And thank you so much for taking the time to come on. I know it's super late there. I tried to be really.
We don't sleep anyway.
We don't sleep.
We're vampires. We only come out at night.
Thank you for having us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
And we'll definitely have to reach out to you in the future. and have you on again.
Yeah,
Please
please.
do.
And
Thank
if you guys do make it over here for performances, let me know.
Yeah,
We're gonna throw your name out.
Awesome.
Happen.
Keep in touch. Thanks for coming on, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
They were so fun.
I know, right?
I just love them even more.
Such cool vibes, such cool music.
I feel like I got so many, like I have all sorts of notes written down like in front of me of
I know,
bands
right?
that were pointed out and like music that I need to go look up. I just have this, like, I don't understand Spotify. Like, I want to, like, I want to get it, but like, if you don't,
I think that Spotify is really good if you use it a lot. Like, I use it chronically, so my algorithm is very catered to me. So I find a lot of new music.
if I try to listen to something twice though, it like starts sending me other places. Is that just because I don't like I didn't
It might
buy?
be because you don't pay for it.
Okay,
I'm not sure.
I don't know. It's really confusing to me. Like I'll like go on and I'll get to listen to like someone's song once they put it out one time, and if I try to listen to it again, like Jackson was like flipping out at me because I had listened to Strange Culture's new song before he got a chance to listen to it.
Yeah, that's definitely because you don't have it.
And I went to go back in. I'm like, wait a minute, this isn't it.
yeah. That's probably because you don't have it, because you're not giving it money. So it's probably something like that.
I don't know. I'm just a YouTube girl. Like I like to see the video. I like to like
I understand what you're saying.
I like those visuals. I'll even take like a good lyric video. Like I don't mind lyric videos, but
I like lyric videos.
I almost need to like visually see it.
I grew up with the media player playing the shapes and then the YouTube lyric videos, fan made ones,
But just I don't know. There's so much exciting stuff. And I feel bad asking right now because I know like most bands they don't have their lineup yet for the spring and summer, but I like them to at least talk about what they want to do because then we can kind of be like, hey, friends that we have there.
I know, right?
Hook it up. Like right now, like I know so many people that like are around the Whiskey Go Go. I'm like, who can I hit up?
I know, right? So
But I guess we'll get off.
Thanks everybody for joining us. We appreciate everybody who listens in every week, and we appreciate all the bands for coming on. And we'll catch you next week on a Pretty Little Podcast.
You guys are awesome. See you next week.
See you next week.